Hey, it is Elizabeth Off-Grid, and I want to talk about my electrical system. Or really the 3 electrical systems I have living in a vehicle. I get a lot of questions about this. You know, what kind of battery do I have? What kind of setup do I have? And obviously if you have an RV or a van that you build, you probably built a much more extensive system. So I want to talk a little bit about my setup. And this actually has changed literally in the last 24 hours. So it's the setup that I have as of today. So the first electrical system is my car. Obviously your car is an electrical system. It has a battery. This is a Subaru Forester Wilderness, and it is not like a hybrid or anything like that. It's just a gas car. So it has a regular battery that a gas car has. It has 3 12-volt plugs, and then it has a couple USB-A plugs, no USB-C. This is the last year of this particular Forester model, so I'm assuming that the 2025s will have USB-C, but this one does not. The USB-As I do not use at all, except for I have one plug in them, so when I want to plug my phone into the system of the car so I can like do navigation through the car and stuff like that through the screen, then I use that. Otherwise I don't, because it just trickle charges the phone and I can charge the phone in another way. However, I do have the 3 12-volt plugs, and so my other 2 electrical systems are plugged into those, and I'll show you that in a sec. So I have 2 other electrical systems. The first one is a relatively small battery that is for my CPAP, and I have that be completely separate. I don't use that battery for anything else. And the reason is that I don't want to ever, and I've had this, get to a point where I'm getting ready to go to bed and I think the battery's fine, and at 2 a.m. my CPAP turns off, and then I get terrible sleep the rest of the night. So my CPAP is in its own little closed system. And that battery is underneath there, and it's kind of, this is where my bed is. It's underneath my bed effectively, and it's plugged into the 12-volt that's here in the middle, and it just charges every day that I'm driving. It can go about 4.5 nights. So 4 nights of me using my CPAP if I don't charge it anymore. And I'll talk about how I charge it when I'm not driving the car. The second electrical system I have is a bigger battery that actually lives up here in the front. And I have kind of permanently, not really permanently, but it is plugged into the 12-volt up here in the front. And then it also has wires that are coming out of it to charge my laptop, to charge my phone, and to charge all my various USB powered devices. So that includes fans, that includes white noise machine, that includes my Cephally device for migraines. It's just all those little, you know, I've lights, all the little USB powered devices. And what I do is I have a couple cords coming out of there that are kind of just permanently attached. I mean, they're not permanently, but I leave them always plugged in. And so that way I don't have to actually plug things into the battery. It's just the cords are right here next to me, and then I can plug things into it. And I have the black cords are for USB-A to USB-C, or USB-A to, what's it called? Micro? The little weird shaped one. And those are trickle charges. So those are max, what, 5 amps or something like that? And because I have a whole bunch of devices that are like that, like my fans and my lights and things, and Cephally device. Then I have the white cords. The white one that is smooth is for my laptop, and the white one that is braided is for my phone. And those are both plugged into the high powered fast charging ones, because you can't plug in, you know, little things like this fan, you can't plug into a fast charging one. Some of them will moderate the amount of juice they take in, and it will not be a problem, but these are cheap little things. You know, I don't really expect them to have some kind of battery management system. So I make sure to plug those into a lower powered cord. And so, yeah, I like to keep it really simple that way. I also have a portable battery. So this is an Anchor. Anchor makes really good stuff. This is an Anchor little portable battery. I don't think it's charged right now. It is not. I need to charge it up. This is for if I'm going to go on a hike or something like this and I want more power with me. I'm going to go over the beach. I'm going to be away from my car, and I want to be able to power my phone or anything else while I am out. And then I can have this be charged up, which right now it's not. So that's not very helpful. But, and so I think it's really great to have something really simple like this. So how do I charge those power systems? Well, obviously the car does its own thing, but has an alternator. But how I charge my 2 batteries, so if I have some little like this, I just plug it into one of the other things, right? But fundamentally, these 2, the one for the CPAP and the big one, they actually plug into the 12-volt in my car. Most of the time, that's just how they charge. Yes, I believe it does impact gas mileage. I haven't actually tested that. It probably does impact my gas mileage, but I'm fine with that. I mean, fundamentally, your car is a giant generator. if you have a gas car or a diesel car. It is a giant generator, so that's fine. It's charging that up. I also have a solar panel, which is not in the car right now. I only bring it with me when I'm needing to use it because I'm not going to be driving my car. So if I'm going to do like dispersed camping and I'm going to be somewhere where there actually might be sun and I'm not going to be in 100% tree cover and it's not going to be 100% overcast or something like that, and I'm not going to be moving from place to place, I'm going to be just staying somewhere and not driving my vehicle, then I'll have my solar panel with me. The little battery, it can charge in 3 hours from zero. Typically it doesn't go down to zero, but I can charge it in 3 hours. The big battery takes longer, maybe 5 or 6 hours. I don't know. I don't think I've ever charged it from zero using solar, but so if I am going to do some dispersed camping somewhere where there's actually sun, then I have that option. The solar panel I actually really like. It actually is fairly efficient and it has all bunch of different output little like things. So that way, whatever battery I want, I can charge, and it also will charge a phone or little devices directly. And it was just this fairly inexpensive random brand. No name Amazon Chinese company brand. I actually really like it. I would get another one of those. For my EcoFlow batteries, would I get EcoFlow again? No, I wouldn't. And it's not that I hate these batteries. I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm going to use them for their useful life because I've kind of figured out the weirdness. But these have been kind of annoying. The percentage that it says it has no relationship to how much it actually has. But I've found in other batteries that's also true. These their battery management system can be very frustrating. Sometimes I have to discharge them all the way to zero, charge them all the way back up to like reset the whole thing. The thing that actually kind of bothers me the most that isn't fixable about these, or isn't anything to do about it, is that they have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and it's on all the time. There's no way to turn it off. So that means two things. One, it is a drain on the system that happens a little bit all the time. It's not the end of the world, but it is a drain. But the second thing that actually bothers me is that it actually is a security flaw. Because if you are parking your car somewhere, one of the reasons you don't want to leave your laptop in the car is because the laptop is throwing off Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and someone can come by with the sniffer and then know some electronics from your car and then break in to steal it. So with my laptop, I bring it with me. I have a backpack back there that's a laptop bag, and I bring it with me if I'm going to be parking in San Francisco or something, right? These batteries, I'm not bringing the batteries with me. They're gigantic. I can't just carry them. And, well, the little one I could, but the big one, carrying it through San Francisco. So I think it's a big security thing. Someone could be walking by. I could be, whether I'm in San Francisco, whether I'm parked at a tourist spot in the middle of nowhere, but it's a fairly big enough touristy area that there's people there who rob cars. They're going to see that there's something to rob in here. And so and also like a lot of the settings and stuff, you can only access through the app. I'd rather have something that is much more dumb, that does not have all these things. Now, is that going to even be something that exists in the future? I don't know. They're probably all going to have all this stupid stuff, but that's probably what I would get. So what brand would I get probably in the future? I think I'd either get Anchor or Bluetti or Jackery. I get one of those three. The reasons I didn't get those three was I got EcoFlow was because EcoFlow at that time was one of the only ones that had the fast charging. And I thought the fast charging was important, and I still stand by fast charging. Never get a power station that doesn't have the super fast charging. But now they kind of all have that. So that's not really going to be the reason that you pick one or the other. I also would look at the form factor. One of the things that really bothers me is a lot of the advertising, like when you look on them on Amazon, all they talk about is the wattage of the inverter. I'm not saying that's not important information to have if you're going to be plugging in things into it that are running off of, a regular plug, an AC plug, but you actually need to know how much capacity does the battery have. And sometimes it's actually really hard to find that information because they're like, oh, this is 1600 watts. And I'm like, yeah, but how many amps? Okay. Like it's 1600 watts of the inverter, or is it how many watt hours? Like they give really bizarre statistics about it. And then they give all these names that mean nothing. It's actually really, so if you're trying to find a battery and you're confused, it ain't you. Okay. It is really confusing. And I think they do it on purpose. I mean, there's no reason otherwise. They must do it on purpose. That must be like a marketing thing. So my third battery is actually in my storage unit, as I said, because it no longer charges off my car. It's not the cord. My significant other is electrical engineer and tested the cord with a meter, and the cord works fine. it can charge off AC. It cannot charge off the car, which makes it fairly useless to me. So it is in my storage unit as a problem to deal with later. Is the short version of that. In the future, if I decide to get a fridge, which is still a big if, I don't know if I'll ever do that, but if I do, then I would get its own battery and it would be its own little closed system. But I don't know. I have my cooler there and I'm cooking with propane and that's fine. You know, I do have one electric cooking thing, which is my little tiny rice cooker, which is the cutest thing you've ever seen. Cutest thing I've ever seen. And it is a 12 volt. It plugs into the car and I use it sometimes to cook rice. I plan to also use it to cook beans. I think it'd be great for cooking. Like I could soak dry beans and cook it in there, you know, kind of use it as a slow cooker. But yeah, so like generally speaking right now, I'm using my electrical just to charge devices. I have used the big battery to cook food and I have a whole bunch of electric ways that are very low wattage to cook food, but I'm not using right now because that battery doesn't work. So again, this is Elizabeth Off Grid. If you have any questions about getting electrical, especially a smaller system for a car, feel free to ask them below and I'll see if I can point you in the right direction. If you found a great solution that you highly recommend, feel free to also leave that below. I'll talk to y'all later next time. Bye-bye.